Can we talk about Springtrap's jump scare? Because what the hell is this? This is William Afton, the murderer, the man behind almost everything that happened in the original FNAF story. He's been trapped inside a spring bodysuit for decades, and when he finally catches you, he barely does anything. Compare that to literally any other animatronic. They're aggressive, they're sudden, they're in your face. But Springtrap, he just looks at you. And the more I thought about that, the more I started wondering if we're looking at this completely wrong. Because what if Springtrap isn't holding back because he's confused? What if he's holding back because he knows exactly who he's looking at? What if William Afton recognizes his own son? Before we start the video, I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers this year. Now, if you could help me real quick, go down there, hit the subscribe button if you like the content. If you don't know yet, go watch a couple more videos. If not, hey, that's okay. But subscribing is free to do at any time. You can undo it at any time. Anyway, thank you. Time to get back to the video. Let's start with the person sitting behind that desk. The FNAF 3 security guard is never directly named in the game, but if you follow the story long enough, there is a very strong candidate, Michael Afton. Yes, William Afton's son. And we've already seen Michael use the name Mike Schmidt before. In the first FNAF game, the player takes the role of Mike Schmidt, and later games give us more and more evidence connecting Michael Afton to the identity of Mike. So, if FNAF 3's protagonist is Michael, that creates a very interesting situation, because the thing hunting him is his father, William Afton. Think about how strange this situation actually is. Michael has spent much of his life dealing with the consequences of his father's actions. William killed children, destroyed his family, and created the animatronics. But eventually, William became Springtrap. Now, imagine Michael walking into Fazbear's Fright. He thinks he's just taking a security job, and somewhere in that building is his father. Now, in FNAF's sister location, at the end he says he's going to look for his father, but we can't really connect that yet. William is not just a ghost in this situation. He's not just a memory. His father is physically there, and William sees him. That's the part that makes this theory very interesting, because William isn't some mindless creature. We learn from FNAF Pizzeria Simulator that he's aware. He's capable of movement, capable of following the player, and very capable to responding to audio lures. He's hunting you deliberately. So if the security guard really is Michael, there's no reason to assume William wouldn't recognize him. Now, look at the jump scare again. Springtrap moves towards the camera, but compared to almost every other jump scare in the series, he doesn't look furious, he doesn't look frantic, he doesn't immediately lunge forward like the others. He looks restrained almost, and that's where the theory comes in. What if this isn't, "I'm going to kill you"? What if it's, "Wait, I know you"? Because if that's Michael behind the desk, William isn't looking at a random security guard, he's looking at his son. Now, obviously, William isn't exactly winning any awards for Father of the Year. His relationship with his children is complicated, to put it mildly, because that's actually what makes this theory interesting. William has caused terrible things to happen to Michael, and Michael has spent years dealing with the aftermath, but William is still his father, and Michael is still his son. So what happens when William finally sees Michael again? Does he immediately attack, or does he hesitate? Maybe Springtrap's strange movement isn't a limitation, maybe it's a character. Maybe William recognizes the person standing in front of him, and for just a moment, he doesn't attack. Not because he suddenly becomes a good person, not because he forgives Michael, but because that's his son. And this brings us back to the original problem. Why does Springtrap's jump scare look so underwhelming? If this was simply supposed to be just another jump scare, Scott could have made it much more aggressive. But Springtrap's is different. His head moves towards you, his mouth opens, and then, well, that's basically it. It's almost like the animation is showing a character who isn't completely committed to what he's doing. And if you interpret the night guard as Michael, that becomes very interesting because maybe the jump scare isn't showing William attacking a stranger. Maybe it's showing William confronting his son. There's one massive problem with this theory, though. The game never tells us this. There is no line of dialogue where William says, Michael? There isn't a newspaper article saying Michael Afton works at Fazbear's Fright. And there isn't a secret minigame showing William recognizing his son. The only thing we can go off is, like I said before, the sister location Golden Freddy mode ending cutscene, where we know Michael says, I'm going to come find you, after saying he's looking for his father, and then showing the outline of Springtrap. Now we know Michael's father sent him to the underground facility to find his sister Elizabeth at first. So we know Michael is definitely William's son, but in theories we can't think in absolutes, so I don't want to call Michael being the security guard of FNAF 3 exactly confirmed. And honestly, there's another perfectly reasonable explanation. The jump scare might just be poorly animated. That's entirely possible. Sometimes a strange design choice isn't secretly communicating something. Sometimes it's just a weird design choice. But there's one thing that keeps this theory alive: the timing. Michael's story is heavily connected to William. He's repeatedly drawn toward the places his father left behind. He investigates, he takes jobs, he follows clues, and eventually, depending on how you interpret the timeline, he ends up working at Fazbear Frights. Which means FNAF 3 potentially puts these two characters together again. Father, son. One behind the desk, and one hunting through the building. And neither of them needs an introduction. They already know each other. So, here's the theory. Springtrap's jump scare isn't bad because Scott forgot how to make a scary jump scare. We see that in later games that we know he does. It's bad because maybe it's not supposed to be an ordinary jump scare. If the FNAF 3 security guard is Michael Afton, then William has finally found his son. And instead of immediately lunging at him, he pauses. He looks at him. He gets closer. And for a brief moment, William recognizes Michael. Maybe he doesn't want to attack. Maybe he's curious. Maybe he's conflicted. Or maybe it's something much darker. Maybe William simply wants to look at his son one more time before killing him. We don't know. And that's the important distinction. The game doesn't confirm the reason. But the animation leaves enough room for us to ask the question. So, why is Springtrap's jump scare so bad? Maybe it's just a bad jump scare. That's the simplest answer. But if FNAF 3's security guard really is Michael Afton, then there's another possibility. Maybe Springtrap doesn't attack the way the other animatronics do, because he's not looking at some random night guard. He's looking at his son. William Afton knows exactly who Michael is, and Michael knows exactly who is inside that suit. So maybe that weird little pause, that strange movement and almost confused look, isn't a mistake. Maybe it's the moment William realizes, that's my son. And if that's what Scott intended, then the worst part about Springtrap's jump scare isn't that he looks weak. It's for that one brief moment, William Afton might actually hesitate. Would you hesitate before killing your own son?